She rushed to open the coffin, but there was only her husband's body inside. Judy went limp in an instant. She hoped someone would help her, and that's when Jack found her. This time, he handcuffed her without mercy. He says because of her crazy behavior, the captain decided to land the plane immediately, and at that moment, Judy was even more convinced that she was right. If her daughter really died with her husband, then the coffins herself brought on the plane should be 2 coffins, so she asked for permission to search the plane once it landed, but Jack only told her once the plane landed, she'd be arrested immediately. As she walked down the aisle to her seat, people were applauding. This crazy woman's behavior has delayed everyone's flight. Jack took her to the last row, but once seated, Ellie remained convinced that her daughter was on the plane. She pleaded with Jack.
If you let them arrest me, she's gone forever.
I'm begging you.
Looking at her poorly, Jack seemed to take pity on her. After a moment of silence, he called the stewardess and asked her to keep an eye on Ellie. He was going to talk to the captain again. Looks like he's going to help Ellie, but he turned around and walked into the cargo hold. He went straight to Ellie's husband's coffin. He ripped the sponge off the outside. There are 2 bombs and a trigger inside. Turns out it was all a conspiracy on his part. Ellie's daughter was actually on the plane. He hid her in the equipment bay. He planted bombs on both sides of the girl's head. Then he found the captain. Jack gave him an account. Said Ellie wanted them to wire £50 million immediately, or they'd blow up the plane.
They. She has an accomplice on board. She won't say who it is. But that's who's holding the detonator. They want the plane deboarded on the tarmac, passengers first, then the crew. And they want a G3, fueled and waiting.
Jack said Ellie was carrying explosives through her husband's coffin. When he heard that, the captain panicked, but he tried to negotiate with Ellie. Jack stopped him right away. He lied and said that Ellie didn't want to negotiate with anyone, and from what he could see, Ellie clearly didn't want to hurt anyone, or she wouldn't have let the passengers off the plane first. He suggested that the captain ask the airline to wire the money immediately, to make Ellie think she was in control, and wait until all the passengers are off the plane. It's not too late to arrest her. Out of ideas. The captain nodded his head in agreement. Then he returned to the cabin. A stewardess suddenly stopped him. Turns out she was Jack's accomplice, and she was the one who pretended to get a call from ground that there was no record of Ellie's daughter boarding the plane. She was the one who gave the captain the fake facts proving Ellie's daughter's death, but now she's a little nervous. Jack, on the other hand, had already made his plans.
She'll be dead 2 minutes after we land. They're gonna find her with a bullet hole through her head and a detonator in her hand.
And the only witness, Ellie's daughter, would be blown to bits, and the next thing he knew, he got a message from the captain. The money had been wired to the designated account. Jack was happy. His plan was halfway there. All he had to do was wait for the right moment to take out Ellie, then everything would be perfect.